Peter Schiff throwing charts now, getting desperate, trying to make people, again, still stay out of Bitcoin for whatever reason. I mean, he just had his bank taken away from him. So, I mean, he should be very unhappy with the government and should be supporting a decentralized network like Bitcoin. But instead, now he's throwing out charts and saying, oh, watch out for this and that and this, right? You know, support will be tested below 10K. Watch out. Like all the other times before where he claimed that Bitcoin was going to go to zero and claiming it'll have another 50% drop when it was at $33,000, right? I don't know. I guess just what he does, how he gets attention on Twitter, because his Bitcoin tweets definitely get a lot more attention than his regular tweets, right? But you figure at some point you gotta come to the light, right? Especially what happened to him. I mean, who wants their bank to be taken away from them? Who wants their money to be taken away from them, right? So, anyways. All right. As for people that actually have come to light and do believe in Bitcoin, the ex-president of New York Stock Exchange does, and thinks that everyone should have some Bitcoin in their portfolio. And for simple reasons, for simple reasons that I have mentioned and many other people have mentioned, basically, Bitcoin is scarce. There will only be 21 million. So, unlike everything else out there that doesn't have a set supply, why would you not want to buy something that's scarce and also that's trusted and censorship resistant? So this is important. And also something that no governments or banks around the world controls. That's important. No one can shut down the transactions or stop the transactions. So these are important things, and he agrees that everyone should have some Bitcoin in their portfolio. And he probably has a large bag I'm pretty sure, for saying this. The Mooch is saying that there will be two things, well, he told CNBC, two things that will prop up demand for Bitcoin short term. Long term, he's a long-term Bitcoin bull, but short term, what can bring the entire market up? One thing that has nothing to do with Bitcoin is Ethereum. He's actually saying Ethereum is bringing a lot of attention to this space. The merge is bringing a lot of money and people into this space, and that could definitely cause a market rally, which would be different than all rallies before, because then that means it's not led by Bitcoin. It's actually led by Ethereum. Ethereum-led market rally, which would be very interesting, something that we have really never seen before, right? So that's number one. Number two is BlackRock, and I've talked about that too, right? BlackRock being as big as they are, getting institutional investors involved, that could be absolutely huge, and they have been making big moves, right? And one wonders if yesterday's meme coin pumps were due to BlackRock. I don't know, because SHIB and Doge just pumped up crazy yesterday, right? Out of nowhere. So maybe BlackRock was buying. Who knows? But BlackRock have so much money, so much influence. So, yeah, you figure they can definitely help bring a lot of money and new clients into this space. But probably for themselves, they've probably been accumulating for a long time already. So, yeah. So I agree with these two. These are two short-term things. But long-term, we know Bitcoin still very healthy. Fundamentals are great. Things are still improving, right? Still on track. Here's one, just kind of measuring Bitcoin's top and bottoms with Fibonacci levels and where we are now, right? Still looking pretty darn good. And here's another one that's measuring another floor, EMA 600, right? And you look at things like supply last active, which means the holders that's been holding for 5 to 7 years. Not at all-time high, but keeps increasing. 21-month high, close to 1 million Bitcoin, has not moved in at least 5 years. Think about that. It's quite a lot, right? So these are great things to look at. And, of course, the number of addresses continue to go up. People that are turning to Bitcoin more and more each and every day. And miners are certainly not going away either. So these are great fundamental things. that is still happening right now. A little bit about Bitcoin since the Terra collapse, which Do Kwon has recently come out. Break silence, kind of. People are calling out that interview as BS. Basically, the interview was done by someone that was a big Terra supporter, and arguably that was just like a PR interview. So now it seems like Do Kwon is open to interviews with other people that won't be so friendly with their questions, right? So we'll see how he answers it. But anyways, Terra's collapse is still on people's minds, right? But the good thing is a lot of people took advantage, bought 330,000 Bitcoin since that collapse towards the bottom because they want to accumulate while people are panicking, while things are low. So that's good for that. But I want to see some of these other interviews between Do Kwon and some of these other guys that's going to ask some tough questions, right? That'll really, I think that'll really reveal some things. Also, as for Bitcoin, of course, there's other great models. Here's one that looks at the circulating supply and profit. And basically, this is a lot like some of the other models like Newpool that's measuring realized loss, realized gains. But if you look at, we are in a pattern, obviously. And if you look at the bottom, basically, this is higher lows, right? Shows there is a correlation there, obviously, with the supply being in loss versus supply being in profit. So another one of those models, interesting models that show bottom. And of course, balance on exchanges continues to drop, reach a new 4-year low. So that's positive. I've been telling you guys about buying. Just last night, I talked about sea mammals, and people didn't like that term, but whales, sharks, and dolphins have been buying Bitcoin by the boatload each and every day. So it makes sense that Bitcoin balance on the exchanges keeps dropping. We are at 2018 levels, guys. 2018 levels. So think about that. 2018 levels, Bitcoin was below 10,000, nearing 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. And we dropped to a low as 3,000. And think about where we are now, Bitcoin being at 23,000, 24,000, and the reserves being that low, right? We have come a long way within a very short amount of time, but there'll be more Bitcoin leaving exchanges as we move forward. So there you go. If you're looking to buy Bitcoin and crypto for the first time and you don't know where to get started, head over to CryptosRus.com and click on the best exchange guide. Within, you'll find a list of exchanges that I recommend and some that I use on a daily basis. If you are outside the US, I highly recommend looking at Binance.com first. They are the biggest exchange out there, supported in almost every single country. They have a fantastic fiat on-ramp, off-ramp system. They offer the most trading pairs and the lowest fees in the industry. You could also download a mobile app onto your Android and Apple device very easily. If you are in the US, I recommend taking a look at the sister company of Binance, Binance.us, which offers all of these things and more. So if you want to learn more, head over to CryptosRus.com or utilize the links in the description of this video.